Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1674. I've been here this many mornings for you in my time zone. It is currently 6:10 a.m. or thereabouts, and I start at 6:10 because it used to be that classes started 10 minutes after the hour where I went to college, and I thought that's a good time because that way people are more precise and they try to arrive. And as long as the previous lecturers did not overstay and overdo. I am reading from George J. Chanos, Millennial Samurai, Book One, a mindset for the 21st century. Now, George J. Chanos is a very nice man. He used to be the Attorney General in Nevada, and he's done many other things before and since. And he decided that he was better off lecturing and doing these things, writing these books, than going into the politics and running for president. He did want to run for president. I think he would have made a very viable candidate. And I have met him 3 times at least. I have met him at the first secret knock I went to, the Nevada secret knock I went to, the previous, and I also went to his luncheon in Nevada. It was a good luncheon with a lecture on how the tsunami of AI was going to hit us like crazy, and that being a human would become redefined, and that the most important thing that we need to do is to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that is something I'm still trying to get a grasp on, and I don't have a good grasp of it, but I do love this book. It is so key to knowing things. I will read you from this now. Now, he quotes Marcus Tullius Cicero, Cicero. Marcus Tullius Cicero was a Roman statesman, an orator, a lawyer, and philosopher. And he said, "It is not by muscle, speed, or dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment." Interesting. So, great things are achieved internally, not externally. That is an interesting philosophy. And it is actually interesting that I happen to practice Chinese martial arts, an internal martial art. You have to do internal and external. I don't do the external yet, but I do the internal. And it is very hard to do, but this is part of it. This falls right in line, aligns with the internal martial arts of Chinese history and Japanese history. Character consists, this is George J. Chanos's words now. Character consists of the unique qualities that define each one of us. It guides our responses to any situation or circumstance. It determines why we do the things we do and how we do them. It is the sum of the qualities built into an individual's life that determine his or her choices regardless of circumstance. Good character is perhaps the single most essential quality necessary for success. Good character is perhaps the single most essential quality necessary for success. Even where there are books on wealth, the author Thomas J. Stanley has said that be honest with everybody. Being honest with everybody, never lie. That means that you can go along your life and never have to memorize some kind of lie. Because once you memorize a lie to 15 people, they tell 15 more people, you've got 256 people. Yeah, I can't get it right. Anyway, so without it, good character, says George J. Chanos, is perhaps the single most essential quality necessary for success. Without it, no one will want to hire you, do business with you, or have a relationship with you. In fact, a flawed or weak character will eventually cause others to avoid having anything to do with you. I have an example here. There was a time I was staying in a women's shelter, and across the street from the shelter was a busy man. He was busy going over to girls' trunks and taking pictures inside their trunks and taking pictures of the women that lived there. It was really annoying and it was a violation of privacy. And he would do this and send the pictures to the people that ran the shelter. Nobody stopped him but me. I yelled at him and said, "Don't you dare touch me. Don't you dare touch me. Don't you dare touch me." I yelled and I went to the police and I filed a report. And then there was a time that he was talking to somebody else. He was doing some kind of business with them. And that somebody else I made contact with right in front of him. And I said, "This guy takes pictures of us in our trunks and takes them and gives them to these people. He violates our privacy. He annoys the women. He bothers us." And I went back to my car. And then the man came out and took a photo of me in front of that businessman. Well, guess what? That businessman did not bring his business to him again. I saw that the man that was taking the photos, his garage remained closed for a while. I don't know what kind of merchandise they were moving, but it was probably a legitimate trade, but he was a very bad character. So, there. Without character, good character, no one will want to hire you, do business with you, or have a relationship with you. In fact, a flawed or weak character will eventually cause others to avoid having anything to do with you. Character includes multiple traits. Some traits that can lead to a happy, successful, and meaningful life include honesty, integrity, honor, truthfulness, dependability, diligence, humility, punctuality, sincerity, tolerance, and generosity. I sometimes refer to these positive character traits as core values. Core values. We went over that page before. Honesty is broader than truthfulness. It extends beyond what you say and includes all your actions and dealings with others. It's being fair, just, forthright, and truthful at all times in all circumstances. That's interesting how I had to pull out myself from a web of lies when I was 13. It was interesting, very, very interesting. Integrity means being true to your word. It means honoring your commitments and being dependable and trustworthy. A person who has integrity is a person you can count on. Have integrity and surround yourself only with people who have integrity. Now, my morsels of a thought are hopefully thoughts of wisdom that we will know the right things to do in our lives. And as I got from a fortune cookie many years ago, knowing the right things to do is wisdom. Doing them is virtue. So, what we're doing in this show is to bring morsels of a thought of wisdom to people and creating more virtue in the world by the audience members doing what they feel is right for themselves and virtuous. Virtuous meaning constructive to yourself and to society. Constructive, not destructive. Okay. Even if you are only taking care of yourself today, that is being virtuous to your own heart and knowing that you are helping to create world peace from the heart to the family, to the neighbor, to the city, to the nations, to the world. There we are. That was Lao Tzu. Okay, and the Japanese preserve the same Chinese culture that I come from. The Japanese that I have encountered that are from Japan understand Chinese culture sometimes more well than Chinese people do. Truthfully, truthfully, and I can say this because I'm Chinese, but don't say this too much because that might hurt people's feelings. And I don't care whose feelings I hurt because I am Chinese too, and my feelings were hurt. Well, uh, okay. Anyway, back to the book. Millennial Samurai, Book 1, A Mindset for the 21st Century. Honor, says George J. Chanos. Honor means taking personal responsibility to uphold what is pure, right, true, and just. Now, the word pure, I feel, is also the word clean. That's what they mean. That in some languages, it is translated as the word clean. So don't overthink the word pure, okay? A person with honor, that's what I was saying. But anyway, Dr. Chano says, a person with honor always does the right thing regardless of consequences. A person of honor is a beautiful and enlightened individual. Of all the great values, honor is perhaps the most important and rare. If you have honor, you are simply by virtue of that quality already successful. Be honorable. Now, I was honorable, and that's how I got kicked out of UC Berkeley, because I would not use the solution set that I had in my hands, which I was using to correct my homework. I did not use the solution set to do my homework. I used it to correct my homework. So I got not a curve grade that was good, and I fell out of school, dropped out of school. That's anyway. Truthfulness, says Dr. Chanos, means never lying or withholding information. Even a small lie can ruin an individual's career, destroy a marriage, or end a lifelong friendship. Be truthful in all your dealings and accept nothing less from those with whom you associate. Dependability means doing what you agree to do, even if it means making unexpected sacrifices. It means showing up for work on time, doing your job well, meeting your deadlines, and supporting others. It is a cornerstone of success. You cannot be successful without it. Be dependable. Diligence means perseverance, hard work, and constant effort to accomplish a given task. It means using your best efforts to overcome obstacles and achieve your objectives. It means doing whatever is required to meet your goals. Success requires diligence. Be diligent. Diligence is spelled Diligence. Humility, Humility, means being modest and selfless. It means giving credit where credit is due. It is the opposite of being boastful. It includes being willing to undertake unglamorous tasks and graciously accepting the sacrifices involved. Having humility is a sign of strength. Be humble. I'm going to show this to my worker. Punctuality. And that too, huh? Punctuality means showing respect and esteem for others by showing up on time and meeting deadlines. Not being punctual is extremely inconsiderate and disrespectful. Successful people pride themselves on being punctual and expect others to be punctual. Be punctual. Sincerity is authenticity. It means being who you are, saying only what you believe, and meaning what you say. Sincerity is extremely persuasive and compelling because it is real and comes from the heart. I always sign my letters sincerely yours. Tolerance means accepting others for who they are. It means being open to new ideas, people, cultures, and customs. It means being open to alternative points of view. It means understanding the value of diversity. Be tolerant. Yeah, I ate a snake soup. Oh, God. But that was tolerance. Generosity means treating all people with respect, even when they can't do anything for you. It means being gracious and kind to everyone you meet. It means recognizing that every human being, regardless of status, deserves respect, consideration, and happiness. It means helping and caring about others. Be generous. And I want to say the thing about time, punctuality. In some cultures, the time is seen as a set of waves, and it is a punctuality is secondary to attachment and duty. That is a I'm not going to say anything because I may have mixed up two facts, but there are two kinds of uh, treatments of time in cultures, and one of them is punctuality. The most militaristic cultures are always punctual people, very punctual. It's very interesting. And then the ones that are more of not considering punctuality are usually more less warlike people. This is this is a researched fact for small group discussion. I am reading from A Mindset for the 21st Century, Book One of Millennial Samurai by George J. Chanos. This way, George J. Chanos. He is the former Nevada Attorney General. So he's an attorney too. And my morsels of a thought of wisdom are hopefully to give you thoughts of what to do. And when you do them, when you commit the action, you create virtue. Okay? All right, now we go to courage. Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees all others. Courage, Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister. That's a quote from him. Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees all others. If you didn't have courage to fight off a lion, you wouldn't be alive to be able to have all those other characteristics. Okay. Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. The capacity for courage, says Dr. Chanos, the capacity for courage lies within all of us. Courage can be cultivated and acquired. You develop courage by taking action that is inconsistent with fear and consistent with courage. Developing courage is a process. Now, the part here is boldface. You can overcome your fears and develop courage by setting clear goals, gathering information, doing research, planning thoroughly, and creating a plan of action. If you did all these things, you would be already an amazing person. Okay, then he says, action is magic. Dr. Chanos says, action is magic. Success requires action. With each success, we become more confident and our courage grows. As our confidence and courage grow, we begin to take on new and greater challenges. When we develop courage, a new world of possibilities opens up to us. Be courageous. Now, I noticed something that a veteran did, and John Clark. I tried to put that veteran post in and it wouldn't copy to me. So I guess because I'm not a veteran, but anyway, I did try. So John Clark, good morning. John Clark is a veteran, as is his wife, Barbara. His wife, they are both Air Force veterans. So honor your veterans because your veterans probably have the most courage among us. The probably they are required to fight for those of us who can't fight for ourselves. That's one of the things I've heard of. I'm not sure, but you can't quote me because I'm not sure about that part. But I do know that courage and uh, working in the armed forces kind of go hand in hand and they correlate to each other. So, courage, courage, courage. Courage en français. Courage. It's interesting how actually I have been known to be stupid and courageous once or twice. Um, when somebody in a store was arguing with me and he looked like he really was angry because we were standing in line and they were looking at things on the shelves. So I was walking parallel and I was looking at him and hoping that he would either come away from what he was looking at or let me walk in front of him in line. Well, he blew up. He blew up. He totally blew up and said, and then it was an interesting interaction. But I stood there. I did not step back like I felt like I wanted to. I just stood there. I didn't say anything. I smiled and I went like this so that he could go ahead, but he was still not satisfied. He was arguing with me a lot. And I just said, well, you were looking at something and you were looking at it so long that the line in front of you had gone 6 or 8 feet away. So, whatever. And so, of course, he stayed in front of me. I didn't try to jump in front of him. I didn't know that he was not still shopping. So, it was interesting, but I did not back off. I did not back off. Now, I don't know if that was stupidity or courage. I don't know. But I did not back off because I figured that if he wanted a fist fight, I would give him something to play with. You know, I mean, hey, I'm not a fist fighter. I weigh. I don't. I've never learned a martial art in my life. I mean, the external martial arts, I have not done any of them in my life. But courage is something that you have internally, as well as making calls sometimes requires courage. Cold calls makes you require courage. And walking into businesses to ask for a job also requires some courage. And I have to tell you, I've done it 200 times. 200 times. Walked into cold call businesses or cold call telephone calls to ask for a review of my resume. And I've had 7 hits out of two, no, 14 hits out of 200, which means a 7% success rate. And it did take that gumption, swallow it, gumption, to go and do it. You can, and you will. It's called gumption as well as courage. Courage, courage, courage. I love courage. Dogs are courageous. You know that? Dogs, 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 dogs. Our dogs are courageous little puppies. They are courageous little creatures. They protect us all the time. They are not afraid. Well, one dog we had, Sino, we in our Sino was this big, and then we encountered a dog that was a terrier this big, and the terrier barked once, and then our dog went tail tucked between his legs all the way back home. 9 houses. My dad went, oh God. That's the only time I've ever seen a dog not have courage. But I'll say otherwise. Courage is usually a very dog-like canine kind of quality, I say. Not that you should ever be a dog. Never, never, never. Do some thinking and carry a human response. Be a human being. Be a human being. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Old Kinderheck. Bye.